evolution can explain the origin of complex biological features.
No, even the staunch Darwinian biologist Richard Dawkins concedes that biology is the study of complicated things that give the appearance of having been designed for a purpose. Bill Gates said this: human DNA is like a computer program, but far, far more advanced than any software we've ever created. So cells are constantly performing computer-like information processing. And the more we discover about the cell, the more we are learning that it functions like a miniature factory with motors, power supplies, waste removal, and much more. As Bruce Alberts, former president of the U.S. National Academy of Scientists, said, the entire cell can be viewed as a factory that contains an elaborate network of interlocking assembly lines, each of which is composed of a set of large protein machines. Why do we call the large protein assemblies that underlie cell function protein machines? Because, like machines invented by humans to deal efficiently with the macroscopic world, these protein assemblies contain highly coordinated moving parts. Now, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of molecular machines in living cells. But perhaps the most famous example of molecular machine is the bacterial flagellum. The flagellum is a micromolecular propeller assembly driven by a rotary engine that pushes bacteria forward toward food or a favorable living environment. There are various types of flagella, but all function like a rotary engine made by design. And it is an excellent example of irreducible complexity. That's a concept developed and popularized by a university biochemistry professor from Lehigh named Michael Behe. Irreducible complexity is a form of specified complexity which exists in systems composed of several interacting parts that contribute to the basic function. And if the removal of any one part, it will cause the system to effectively cease functioning. Because natural selection only preserves structures that give a functional advantage to an organism, any system like this would be unlikely to evolve through a Darwinian process because there's no evolutionary pathway where they could remain functional during each small evolutionary step. So, experiments by microbiologist Scott Minnick show that the flagellum fails to assemble or function properly if any one of its approximately 35 protein parts is removed. So by definition, it is irreducibly complex. In this all or nothing game, mutations cannot produce the complexity needed to evolve a functional flagellum one step at a time. And the odds are too great for it to evolve in one giant mutational leap. Charles Darwin said this: if it could be demonstrated that any complex organ existed which could not possibly have been formed by numerous successive slight modifications, my theory would absolutely break down. He goes on to say, but I can find out no such case. Well, he couldn't find a case in the 1800s, but today we can, and we have. Where, in our experience, do language, complex, and specific information, programming code, and machines come from? Well, they only have one known source: an intelligent designer. In our case, we say God.